Once, in summertime, the bear and the wolf were walking in the forest, and the bear heard a bird singing so beautifully that he said,
Brother Wolf,
"What's
that bird that sings so well?"
The wolf, who had a habit of teasing, said, "That's the king of the birds before whom we must bow down." In reality, the bird was the willow-wren, sometimes called the fence king after his practice of sitting on fences warbling at gardeners.
If that's the case,
Said the bear,
I should very much like to see his palace. Take me there, Brother Wolf. Let's go now.
"Not so fast," said the wolf. "You must wait until the queen comes." Soon afterwards, the queen arrived with some food in her beak, and the Lord King came too, and they began to feed their young ones. The bear would have liked to go at once, but the wolf held him back by the sleeve. "No, you must wait until the Lord and Lady Queen have gone away again." So they looked around and remembered the place where the nest lay and trotted away. The bear, however, couldn't rest until he'd seen the palace, and when a short time had passed, went to it again. The king and queen had just flown out, so he peeped in and saw 5 or 6 young ones lying there.
Is that the royal palace?
Cried the bear.
It's a wretched place. You are not king's children. You are scruffy kids, not royal at all.
When the young wrens heard that, they were frightfully angry and screamed, "No, that we are not. Our parents are honest people. Bear, you'll have to pay for that. You're a very rude bear." The bear and the wolf were shocked to be told off like that, and turned back and went home and sulked. The young willow-wrens, however, continued to cry and scream, and when their parents again brought food, they said, "We will not so much as touch one fly's leg. No, not if we were dying of hunger, until you've settled whether we are respectable children or not. The bear has been here, and he's insulted us." Then the old king said, "Settle, I'll go and sort him out." And he at once flew with the queen to the bear's cave and called in, "Old growler, why have you insulted my children? You'll suffer for it. We'll punish you. This is war." Thus war was announced to the bear. He made an army of all 4-footed animals, oxen, asses, cows, deer, and every other 4-footed animal the earth contained. It was a huge and mighty army. And the willow-wren summoned everything which flew in the air, not only birds, large and small, but midges and hornets, bees and flies had to come. When the time came for the war to begin, the willow-wren sent out spies to discover who was the enemy's commander-in-chief. The gnat, who was the most crafty, flew into the forest where the enemy was assembled and hid herself beneath the leaf of the tree where the password was to be announced. There stood the bear, and he called the fox before him and said,
"Fox, you're the most cunning of all animals. You shall be general and lead us."
"Good," said the fox, "but if I'm in charge, I need a signal to communicate my orders." No one could suggest anything sensible, so the fox said, "I have a fine, long, bushy tail, which almost looks like a plume of red feathers." And he waved it about a couple of times and admired it himself. "When I lift my tail up quite high, all is going well, and you must charge. But if I let it hang down, run away as fast as you can." When Secret Agent Nat had heard that, she flew away again and revealed everything, down to the minutest detail, to the willow-wren. When day broke and the battle was to begin, all the 4-footed animals came running up with such a noise and a huff and a puff that all the earth trembled. The willow-wren, with his army, also came flying through the air with such a humming and whirring and swarming that everyone not fighting pulled their windows closed and covered their ears. Both sides advanced towards each other menacingly. But the Willow-Wren sent down the hornet with orders to settle beneath the fox's tail and sting with all his might. When the fox felt the first sting, it made him wince and lift one leg from pain. But he bore it and still kept his tail high in the air. At the second sting, he was forced to put it down for a moment. At the third, he could hold out no longer, screamed and put his tail between his legs and grasped his bottom with both front paws. When the animals saw that, they thought all was lost and began to flee, each into his hole, and the birds had won the battle. Then the king made the hornet a general, and he and the queen flew home to their children and announced, "Children, rejoice. Eat and drink to your heart's content. We have won the battle." But the young wrens said, "We'll not eat yet. That rude bear must come to the nest and beg for pardon and say that we are honourable children before we'll do that." Then the willow-wren flew to the bear's hole and cried, "Growler, you're to come to my nest to see my children and beg their pardon, or else I'll set General Hornet to sting your bottom too." So the bear, who did not like stings to the bottom, crept there, greatly nervous, and begged their pardon.
"Sorry, little wrens,"
He said.
"No offence meant, I'm sure."
And now at last the young wrens were satisfied, and sat down together and ate and drank and made merry till quite late in the night.